So we have what I think is going to be a two-part series here tonight and next Wednesday, because as we know, penalty enforcement is a doozy. I believe, sitting in your seat right now, Cooper, if I was able to start with somebody not just reading it to me, but somebody having it make sense to me, I would have caught on a lot faster. The truth is, I probably officiated easily 3 or 4 years, truly not understanding all of the penalty enforcement. And the fact is, I still get questions wrong today on penalty enforcement. So I don't know if you ever truly nail it and have it no problem, nothing trips you up, because it can get very complicated. I don't think I think you can be a great official without knowing every ins and outs of every penalty enforcement, but I think you need to nail the basics. And that's what we're going to try to do. So, again, when I said I wish somebody would have taught me this when I first started here, because now I'm learning it, and I'm learning it, some of it online, or I have learned it, some of it online, watching YouTube videos and stuff, and somebody explaining it, and me going, oh, that's it? Or discussions or test questions maybe that I've missed, and then having to explain to me, and I'm like, wow, if somebody just would have said that a long time ago, I think this would have made a lot more sense. We're going to go from that standpoint tonight. So we're not going to fly through anything. We're going to take each thing and truly try to understand it as a group. And, if we don't, we're going to back up and give more examples. So we all come out of here feeling really good about all of the penalty enforcement. If we can all go into week one feeling really good about all of this, holy crap, you're ready. You're a crew saver. You're not going to miss these things if we can go back to the basics of them. Okay, so I did, and next week is obviously at Chip Hills for our final one besides the test. I talked to the MHSA yesterday, said early next week the test will come out. So
we'll see.
That's very that's literally the answer I got. Not it'll be out Monday at 3. Early next week, I think. There's usually a couple that I vehemently disagree with. That we all do, but that's okay. I mean, I think that's okay. It gets, I feel like if our whole crew, or our crew specifically, usually sits down with the test, I feel like we are all on the same page and we have a reason behind an answer, and their test disagrees with it. I'm either going to call them and ask why, or I'm going to go, you know what, this is wrong, because people write wrong test questions all the time. I mean, it happens. So. And you guys know, who have taken this over and over, you get the test released, 200 people take it, and then they go back and they change the question or the answer to make it right. That happens all the time. So, yeah. Okay, so I don't know if I can click this or not.
Hey, real quick, I just also want to say, while he's figuring out how he can move that forward and backwards, thank you guys for the amount of years that we have in this room that continue to show up on a week-to-week basis. It just shows that you guys continue to put the work in as we're continuing to learn, and we're learning just as much from you guys, that even though we're up here and doing this every week, we're gaining a lot of knowledge. So I can't thank you guys enough. And then hats off to you guys that are new or newer, that are taking the time to make yourselves better. So just thank you guys. It's been really good.
Yep.
I know this week was supposed to kind of be a little bit about communication as well, but I know a lot of it was covered last week in Steve's presentation, which was great. So in order to just kind of keep rolling and not double dip on things back-to-back weeks, this is how we got to the start of the penalty enforcement a little bit early. And Larry did a lot of the work on creating this, so we're going to try and tag team this tonight, but hope to get you guys involved in the discussion as much as possible.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I've been putting this together for 2 months now, just because it just keeps getting it. I have a better idea or whatever. But yeah, what do you got?
2025 football simplified rules, simplified and illustrated.
Yep.
A couple things I highlighted here, went back to the rules book and said, this is wrong. It was my interpretation, the way I read the rule.
Mm-hmm.
And here I'm not I mean, it has got a picture on every page. And
awesome.
Yeah. And some of it was on penalty enforcement.
Yeah.
And I would have sworn that I knew the rule.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
So there's a big. I don't
Great
know
resource.
if you guys are on any kind of. I don't know how it happened, but somehow on Facebook I got on this group of football officials that almost every day they post a question or a scenario or whatever, and I'll glance through it sometimes. Well, there's been a big kind of to-do about this forward fumble with the momentum exception attached to it and how states are ruling on this. Like truly states are saying this is how we're doing it. Other states are going, no, this is how we're doing it. So, which is crazy because it's pretty well written in the rule book and people are still arguing about it. It's the same rule book all of the states are using. And it has to do with when the ball is turned over inside the 5-yard line, goes into the end zone, he fumbles it out of the end zone, it goes out of bounds. We've covered this a few weeks now where, okay, the rule says forward fumble out of bounds comes back to the spot of the fumble, but we now have momentum, so instead of it being a touchback, it's going to go to the 2, for example, where they possessed it. Well, there are other states saying, no, that's a touchback, which I don't know how they're interpreting it. It is very clear in the rule book that that is not the case here. So I asked at the MHSAA yesterday, and he's like, no. It's the momentum exception. That's how the state of Michigan is handling that. He said, matter of fact, there's a test question exactly like that on the test. So look forward to seeing that. There's going to be a turnover inside the 5. It's going to go in the end zone. He's going to fumble it forward out of bounds, okay? And we are supposed to bring it back to the spot of the fumble, which is the end zone, but we have momentum, so we're going to be B's ball 1st and 10 from that spot. But you good with that? Just that has nothing to do. That's not really a penalty enforcement. It gets really crazy when we have a penalty during that. That's when you just start going like this. Well, we got to cover the basics first. Okay? All right. So I started out, I put 3 quiz questions up front because just to kind of get us warmed up. But, honestly, Cooper, Taylor, you guys should try to handle this without somebody telling you what it is. Come up with a guess or come up with a reason why you think it should be this, and it's okay to be wrong. And once you start trying to figure out on your own instead of just listening to the person next to you, I think you get this better. So 2nd and 8 at the A20, so we're coming out. Quarterback A7 drops back the pass, throws the ball to a receiver at the A25. He is tackled at the A35. So we have far enough to be a first down. But during the pass, A56 was called for holding at the A16. Okay? So I know those of you who have officiated a long time, this is a pretty easy one. All right? Now, this has changed, hasn't it? It's changed. The spot of where we enforced this from changed 2-3 years ago? Maybe 4. Okay. So what do you think, Taylor? Do you already have an idea?
Yeah. The holding was in the backfield.
It was, right? It was behind the line of scrimmage.
So we wouldn't go from the spot, we'd go from where that ball was.
Do you remember what we call that? Previous spot. Okay, so where the ball was previously snapped from.
Yep.
So this is going to be a previous spot enforcement, which would make it. Well, we're going to repeat the down. Okay, so we're going to be at the A10 now, right? 2nd and 18 at the A10, I believe.
Yes.
Yep. Loose ball play. So we're going to get into that tonight. A loose ball play, all loose ball plays, part of that play is enforced from the previous spot. And we got to remember that. That's the enforcement. That's the basic spot, we're going to call it. And we'll get into that. Okay, the next one, again, should be an easy one for those of you who are a senior here. 2nd and 8, the A20. Quarterback A7 drops back to pass and throws the ball to A88, caught it at the 25. He is tackled again at the A35. During A88's run, A56 was called for holding at the A25.
By show of hands, who's got this one, you think? Who's got the enforcement?
So we've got a catch, ran it to the 35. During that run, somebody flagged number 56 for holding during that run. That's what we have. That's the basics.
You got I'm just curious how many, and then we'll call.
Is this making sense, Coop? Can you picture what happened? Okay.
I know for me, that was the hardest part. Was
Me
like
too.
there's so many dang letters and
Oh my
numbers.
gosh.
So I had to dumb it down a little bit and say, okay, the quarterback. Not even. I don't care what the number of the quarterback was. Start.
And that's what
simplifying
tonight
it.
we're going to try to give you
So.
visuals on some of this stuff to make it easier.
Cooper, do you have a wild guess? Okay. Alex,
That's what
you
the
were the
curveball is, right?
Yeah. Alex, what's your call here? I know you raised your hand and said you think you got.
My guess is that's the line of scrimmage, so it's going to be a spot foul, live ball foul, spot foul. But I can't get it side of my head if it's half the distance because we're the 25 are in, or if it's just not.
Okay. Spot foul. What's your distance penalty? Okay.
If you base it on the last question, they went back 10 yards last time from the line of scrimmage at the 20. So this one's farther out. So you're going to go back 10 yards.
Process of elimination. There you go.
So
what they say is you never penalize the offense more than 10 yards. Yeah, unless it's something else happens. So if you did that, it'd be 15 yards. You don't want that. It used to be that way.
Yeah.
So that's not actually why I put this question here. Why I put this question here is, first of all, a pass is a loose ball play. The idea of a pass, that's a loose ball play. Remember the answer on the previous one? It said loose ball plays are enforced from where?
Previous spot.
Previous spot. But the foul did not occur during that loose ball period. It occurred during a run. And our enforcement spots of all runs are end of the run.
End of the related.
But then we have this all but one principle that says the foul which occurs behind the end of the run by the offense, we're going to do it from the spot. So you're right, it's from the spot. And if you guys watch this in a college game or on TV, you'd go, oh yeah, they'd enforce it from there. That's behind where they got to. That's only fair. We're going to try to make that make sense tonight in using the right words. Previous spot, end of the run. What is the basic spot, succeeding spot of the foul? That's our options there. Okay, so so we're going to go, because the 25 is behind the 35, we're going to go back 10 from there. We're going to go whatever from the A15, second and 13, I think.
Second and 13.
13?
Yep.
Yep.
15.
So run play, 3-and-1 principle, all but one. It's called all but one in high school, isn't it?
Yep.
Sorry. Foul occurred behind the end of the run, enforcement spot is the spot of the foul. One more question. Second and 8 at the A20, so we're coming out again. Now we got to run. Running back A44 runs around the left end and is tackled at the A24. So we made it 4 yards downfield, has not reached the line to gain. You got to think about that in a test question each time because it can be tricky. During the run, A66 is called for holding at the A18. Whenever I see a spot of a foul, I immediately go back to what is this? I immediately go to there to go, what are they trying to trick me? Okay, so in this case, the spot of the foul is behind the line of scrimmage. There's a very few fouls that we're going to enforce from behind the line of scrimmage. We'll get to those. Very few. Almost always when it's behind, where are we enforcing it from? Previous spot. So in this case, it's a hold, which is a 10-yard foul. So what are we going to have? You got it. Second and 18 from the 10. Okay, very good. Running play with the run ending beyond the line previous spot, and the foul occurred behind the basic spot. Enforcements from the previous spot. Sounds really, really, you read that and you go, what? That's the problem is you guys would watch this on TV and go, of course. Now, I could do a 50-play highlight right now. I could show you a 50-play highlight of last year's officiating where play after play after play is enforced behind the line of scrimmage. People are just still doing it over and over and over. And no one on that crew is stepping up and going, I don't think we do that anymore. And I'm sure coaches are chirping. Guys, there's very few fouls. Can you think of some fouls, just starting here, that we do enforce behind the line of scrimmage? Intentional grounding. Okay, that's why the referee's got to have that spot right there. It's 5 and loss of down in high school. You think of another one?
Personal foul, anything like that?
No, we're still going to be previous spot there.
about batting?
Illegal batting and illegal kicking. Both of them are spot fouls. I didn't ask this question and I should have. I thought of it on the way home. Think about this. Forward fumble. Offense is running down the field. They get past the line to gain. They fumble the ball that gets knocked out, and it goes 15 yards down the field. And the offensive team kicks that ball. Normally, when we have a play like that, we're gonna enforce it from the end of the run, which the end of the run was the spot of the fumble. Are you saying on that we're gonna give them 15 yards down the field and then enforce it? That's how the rule's written, but people don't like it. And I can tell you that's another one. Different states are doing different things with that enforcement. I haven't heard anything from the MHSAA on that's what they want on this. That's the only one that gives me like, that doesn't seem fair for the defense that they can do that. But that's the rule right now. Especially they boot it out of bounds. Offense just kicks it right out of bounds. We have illegal kicking, a flag right there. It's supposed to be 5-yard spot foul. Doesn't seem fair to me.
What about a hold that starts in the backfield that turns into a personal foul during the play? Like it's not a dead ball personal foul.
Personal fouls are still enforced from the previous spot. Anything in the backfield, except for those weird things that we just named. It's all enforced in the previous spot. Or, it depends. If it didn't get past the line of scrimmage, it's previous spot. If it did get past the line of scrimmage, we could have an end of the run. Again, we're getting in the weeds here. Is this confusing, Cooper? It should be, because I just skipped ahead 20 things we're going to talk about, and I shouldn't be doing that to you. Okay, so now let's actually get into some of the stuff tonight. So I thought, hey, a good part to start, this obviously has nothing to do with, okay, is this a previous spot? I wanted to get into the first, when you do throw your flag, what do we do? Okay, so Cooper, you're going to be in a game, and you're going to see something. You know that's a hold, or you throw your flag, this is what we want you to do. Okay, so the first thing, we got to, as a crew, notify both teams of the end, at the end of the down. How do we do that normally really easily? What's that? Tweet. Yeah, we're going to blow on a whistle. We're going to go tweet, 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 let the whole crew know we have a foul. Okay, we're going to kill the clock for sure. Okay, how do we let everybody in the stadium know that what the foul was? You're the only one with a flag on the ground. By the way, this is our flag tonight. The wipes, because I forgot the flag. Okay, so I throw a flag, tweet, 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 tweet. We give a funny whistle because everybody goes, "What's he doing?" Oh, we have a flag. Okay, then what should I do next? Give a preliminary signal. Okay? Everybody in the stands know, oh, that was hold. He, on the other sideline, can already start communicating with the coach. I didn't even have to go over the 0-2-0. Tony doesn't right now care what number it is. My referee right now doesn't care what number it is. Their wheels are spinning on, oh, we have a hold on the offense spot, the flag's good. Or we have a DPI on the defense and flag doesn't matter. Or whatever. By that preliminary signal, we can get that. The only time we do not give preliminary signals is when there's two flags on the ground. Because if Tony and I both throw, we've got to make sure our flags are for the same thing. Do not give it right away. Okay? And we kind of have a system because we're both line of scrimmage people. We kind of have a system on where we throw the flag and how we enter the field. I already know what Tony's thinking in his first few steps. Okay? If I disagree with it, I'm coming. We're meeting at the ball. And we're going to go, I had this, and then come up with this is what we're going with. Before we ever go to 10. All right? We're not going to do that to him. So we want to give a preliminary. So inform the offended team, that's the wings, okay, of their options. And we're going to get into tonight, what would you tell the coach of his options? Because we're not going to go through officiating lingo to a coach. They're going to be like, what are you talking about? We're also not going to give coaches math problems. We're going to do the math problems and give him, you want this or you want this, all right? So the distance foul can always be declined, which sounds crazy sometimes, but if we think about, that weird enforcement on a kick out of bounds, when I said, hey, the team can also just take it where it went out of bounds and not take the 5 yards, they want to, they can. Or they can decline the distance foul for anything and still take the loss of down, for example, for whatever reason they want to, any foul is declinable. That can have a clock impact at certain points of a game if you know what you're doing and you're a coach. Okay? If both teams foul and the penalty's offset, nobody needs to be consulted. Tim's not looking at Tony and looking at me and going, hey, what are they? They offset. He's signaling that. We're moving on. All right? Not waiting for anything. When we have a live ball foul followed by a dead ball foul, the penalty yard administrator in the order of occurrence. Okay, so that's just another reminder. That can get weird putting it together and everything. When the same team commits a live ball foul followed by a dead ball foul, all of the fouls may be penalized. And that's crazy. Like, that's when you see somebody going 35 yards back on one play and you're like, what just happened? Well, there's 3 flags on the field and it happened to be live ball and dead ball fouls, and that's how that happens. Enforcement cannot take the ball more than half the distance to the goal line. And if you just do quick math in your head, you can quickly do this. If it's a 15-yard foul, that 30's our line. If it's a 10-yard foul, that 10, so you just go half the distance. We can't go farther than half the distance. And we've had some weird ones. We've had the balls going to the 4.5-yard line. All right, balls going to that, and you got to put it there in that case with those half the distance. Loss of down penalties by A, okay, handing the ball forward, which just doesn't happen. I didn't mention it tonight because it doesn't happen very often. It certainly doesn't happen when we were talking about in the backfield because that's legal, right? You can hand the ball back in the backfield forward behind the line of scrimmage. You go in front of that line of scrimmage, you can't do that. Okay, but the other ones, illegal forward pass, like he mentioned, intentional grounding, illegal touching of a forward pass. These are all losses of down. Oh, I forgot about that one. Illegal touching of a forward pass by an ineligible receiver. That is a loss of down foul. Okay. Automatic first downs, roughing everybody. Right? Anybody that can get roughed, those are automatic first down. So just to get that in your head for as far as procedure. Now, you also need to know what your referee wants. Tim does not want me to give him the full enforcement on a false start. Now, false start, 5 yards from the previous spot. He doesn't want that. He knows that. He's been doing this for 30 years. False start, Tim. He's got it from there. Even if it were, you throwing a DPI, Tim does not need the enforcement of that. But your referee might be not as seasoned and might need some, I want you to tell me, and I'm going to tell it back to you, and that way we make sure I don't do something boneheaded. You might have a referee that wants that. So on the part, go ahead.
Who in here is a referee?
Tony, why don't you come over this way?
Yeah, you're fine. As a referee, how do you want your fouls communicated to you by your crew?
The same way that the only difference being is going to be the status of the clock.
Yeah. Yep. So it's a big one on those pass plays, right? So you got to know, was it incomplete? Was it complete? And then from there, everybody else on the crew needs to be helping you with where are we at on the clock. Are we starting on the snap or are we going on the ready? That's a big help. Now, Tim always knows when he looks at me, I'm ready. I am ready. Right
Wind.
here. Right here.
We're already winding.
Right here, Tim.
It's not too often that Larry's giving me this.
Nope. We're right here, Tim. Let's go.
Any other referees in here that have do they like any other communication given?
Do you want the enforcement given to you? Or you're like,
I know so I only are on Thursday nights for JV, and I don't have an issue with it when our crew is telling me that enforcement.
Yeah. Because
I've only been doing this for 7 years, year 8 now, so I don't mind it when Larry's telling me because I know, okay, yep, it's getting I'm on the same page. Or wait a second, that doesn't sound right. Same thing. And not only that, but I also like hearing it from our younger officials. Like, I don't mind if Taylor says, hey, I have a holding from the previous spot 10 yards. That way I know he's getting it. It's part of that learning thing. But on a Friday night, for the most part, he knows what.
Our crew's always been good at, like, we just built the muscle memory, so we say it the way that it gets set over the field, Mike. So prior to the snap, false start, number 55, 5-yard penalty, replay, first down. That's how we've always done it, so it just builds that muscle memory. So I come up and replay, and then he says back, and he goes in.
I think I would like that too as a referee, which I'll never be. But I think I would like them to tell me enforcement. But I've worked under 3 referees now might yank the mic out if I was giving them enforcement. They do not want that. And I'm not talking about Tim. But, like, they're just like, I know the freaking enforcement. Get your ass back there. They would be like that. Okay, that's fine. I'll give you the foul and the number who fouled. And beyond that, that's all they want. So it just depends on your referee. But we be mindful of that.
Does the rest of this make sense? Does anybody have any questions, comments, anything to add about the procedure after a foul?
Nope. Okay. All right. So I tried to give a lot of, instead of quiz questions, more examples in doing this. So we got 3rd and 16 at the A30. 3rd and 16 at the A30. Quarterback A10 throws a pass over the middle field to the tight end for a completion to the A44. Do we have a first down, Coop? No, we're not there. We're 2 yards short, right? Okay, where he caught it. Prior to the pass, DB B8 held wide receiver 8088 while the quarterback was in the pocket. Okay? So we have a foul deep when the quarterback was in the pocket. The defender held the offensive receiver, but that's holding, not pass interference, because ball's not in the air, right? So so you throw your flag, I got holding. The play continues, and the guy caught it, right? The guy caught it here. So we've got to talk about, you're the official that threw the flag. What do you report to the referee? What do we say to the referee? Someone give it a shot.
I believe in you. You got this.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
You've
So
only
you
done
threw
3
this
years,
flag.
right?
Yeah.
Your flag. What do you tell the referee here?
I'd tell the referee where the penalty was at.
Go ahead. Pretend like I'm the referee.
Okay, so let's see. 8-10 to the ball. Prior to the pass, DB while the QB was in the pocket. Okay, so when the penalty happened with the QB in the pocket, I would tell
What's
him where.
penalty? What?
The
What's penalty on? What is it?
Holding on the defensive back, holding on defense.
Okay.
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 At wherever it was at. Okay. And then when it was, whether it was before the pass, during the pass, what was going on.
Okay. So we got to put this together, and this is where referees sometimes can catch you and go, this is a loose ball play, isn't it? Okay? So loose ball play, does anybody remember what the enforcement is?
It says it's before the pass, so therefore, why is it a loose ball play?
Because once the snap happens, it is a backward pass to the quarterback. It's a backward pass, and if it results in the ball being thrown, all of that is part of the loose ball play. We're going to pull up a video here shortly and show you. Okay, but once it is possessed by either team, it is now a run play. So in the same play, we had loose ball, run play. In the same play. And we could have multiple loose balls.
Hey, it's a great question.
It's a great question.
Because if you don't know, I appreciate that you're willing to ask that. Because I guarantee the guys here that are like, wait, what?
So first thing I would say when you're telling the referee, I wouldn't just go, because this is what happens sometimes. I got holding on number 8, black right there. Who do we always think holds? The offense. You better be clear to the referee. I got holding on the defense. The D-back, number 8. I got holding on the defense. Make sure their wheels get spinning on that. And you go, okay, all right, we had a loose ball play. It was before the – yeah, it was a loose ball play. Happened right at the line of scrimmage. He grabbed him, yanked him back. Okay. So that's a previous spot enforcement, isn't it? You guys got that? This isn't a tack on. We have one time that we tack on. This is not that. So they can go back to here, back to the 30, and enforce it from there. Defensive holding, 10 yards. High school, it's not an automatic first down. So we're just going
It'd be third
and 6 from the 40. Or, which was to the 44. 4th and 2 from the whatever, from the 44. We've got, and that's the next thing I have is, okay, the referee, we give that to Tim, and Tim's going to go, Tony, Larry, he needs us to do our job now on the sidelines, and whoever the offended coach is, I'm going to go, or what would you say to them? Even better. What do you? You're the official on the offended team sideline. What are you going to say to them?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd give them a little more. What do you got?
Coach, do you want 3rd and 6 or 4th and 2?
Perfect. Perfect. Don't let them do math. Don't do any of that. Okay. And don't. I wouldn't just say 3rd or 4th down because they might not have realized they're not doing it. They might not realize it was only 4th and 2. So exactly right. 3rd and 6 or 4th and 2, coach. What do you want? And they might go and they might call up and ask, and it might take a second. That's okay. We'll give them a second to process that. And then we're going to report back to our referee and say, hey, they want to decline this. All right, we got 4th and 2. Or they're enforcing it. We got 3rd down again. Then we're going to, with our umpire, I'm going to be here. Okay, we got a 10-yard walk-off. We're going like this. And we're going to spot the ball and be ready to go. Okay? I don't know what my other questions were.
Do you need a preliminary signal here?
Do you need?
That's what it says.
Yes. This is what preliminary signals are for. This spins coaches up on, oh, that's what we have. Other ones, we don't need a preliminary. But this one, this is what preliminaries are for. Okay, to let everybody start doing math in their head, including us. We got to get that math right. And honestly, it's probably easier to do math in here for this than it is on the field sometimes.
Are there any crews that are not using O2Os? Everybody uses O2Os, so you're reporting everything, talking to your crew.
Okay.
If you weren't, how would you report the signal to the referee? Go old school, no technology on your hip. What's that? Yeah.
Yeah, I worked for 4 years in college without O2Os. My referee hated them. Said, no, we're not doing it.
I currently don't do Friday nights because my kid plays Friday. Both of my kids play Friday nights, so I'm not going to do them. And so I don't have O2O personally.
Yep.
And so JV games, middle school games, you always
Run to the yard.
run to the official.
Yeah, and it's simply, I mean, on Thursdays, if we're not using, I can go here.
And that's why that preliminary is really important too, right?
Yell to him. Yeah, it actually, it doesn't go bad without O2Os. You think it's going to be, oh, we can't communicate. It's not bad. It's really not.
A lot of times in the beginning of the league, it's just who, they don't care about the number. So like the person who did the penalty, they don't really care about that.
They will eventually when you start working Friday nights.
Well, yeah, no, but
Yeah.
even then, and the preliminary stuff, you don't need the number.
No, not at all. Not for a preliminary.
The wing
Yeah.
official does.
But not for the preliminary, right? But not for as long as you throw that flag and you're already showing your R, here I got that holding, I got the holding, then you can have that conversation as we're getting ready to march that off and he's giving the signal to the crowd, going over the mic, then we can start having the conversation. Coach, that was your defensive back number 8.
Let's our you and our R start talking, in the middle there. They can start preparing. Okay. All right. So, yeah.
We've talked about this a little bit already.
We have.
Right? We've skipped a little bit, but so hopefully
But this even makes it more confusing, I think. It really does. A loose ball play is kicked, passed, or fumbled, ball not in player possession. This type of play ends with player possession. I read that and I go, okay, that's right out of the rule book. Literally word for word, that's what it says. It doesn't help me much. Okay, I need to understand what does that look like. Okay, so actually for right now, we can probably put a pin in that till we get to looking at a play, and let's discuss what parts of it are. Right. So, but anyway, not in player possession. That's the key here. Okay, loose ball play is not in player possession, even though sometimes it is.
Another question. Okay, you said from the snap, when it snaps to the quarterback and it's a pass play,
Loose ball play.
Okay, when he catches the ball and he rolls out, does that become then a run play? Because he's rolling out.
If he crosses the line of scrimmage or gets tackled before he throws it, that is a run play.
That becomes a run play.
Yep.
But then he still throws it.
Now we go back. The loose ball play.
Just kind of stepping all the way through. Yep. You start with a loose ball. He runs it because the run pass option crap.
Yep.
A lot of coaches like that. And so is he going to run it? Is he going to pass it? Well, now when that holding takes place downfield, like on that previous question, okay, was it during his rollout or was it See what I'm saying?
But his rollout can turn into a loose ball play.
Can turn into a loose ball play.
We don't know till it happens.
Right.
We're just, for right now, throwing a hold. I got 56, and I'm officiating play. Oh, we threw it. Okay, we got a loose ball play because that happened before the pass. But we know that segment before becomes a loose ball period.
Right. So even if he's rolling out,
Yep.
it's still considered loose ball at that point in time.
Maybe.
It's a run until he passes.
Yes.
It's a run until
But
he
then
passes.
the run became part of
The loose ball play.
Okay.
Confusing as heck. I know. I know exactly how you're thinking, and I sat there and did the same thing.
I'm trying to.
I know.
Equate
Does
those-
it make sense now?
It does.
Okay.
I mean, it makes sense to me. But I sit there because both of my kids took the ref reps course in school, and they're officiating with me. And I had to sit there last night with one of my kids and explain to him the fumble question on the rules.
Forward fumble out of
Forward
bounds.
fumble out of the end zone and why it wasn't this one, and how you had to think about that. And
Did you explain it right?
I think I did.
Then you understand it way better than you did prior to explaining it to your
Well,
kid.
I know it took me 3 times what I did.
You guys have no idea how much this is helping me, having to prepare for this and do this. No idea how more confident I am now than I was last year. Just makes me do the work.
And once I got him to understand it, it started to click more for me.
Yeah.
Because I started thinking, all right, as his big question was, where they had the loose ball foul and it went backwards. Why did they mark it, put it back where he fumbled it? Well, he fumbled it backwards out of bounds.
Yep.
And why didn't he mark it where he fumbled it?
Only
I'm
four.
like, they're not looking to hurt the runner
There you
or
go.
hurt the offense, and so it's a how when you're trying to portray the thing.
And you can couple that right into this has clock implications.
Right.
A forward fumble out of bounds, we're stopping it and then telling the referee. A backward fumble out of bounds,
Yeah.
clock is
'Cause
dead,
I mean,
we're on the
I
snap.
can see my kid, who's going to be the captain on his football team, asking those questions to the white cap.
Oh, and he's going to be right. Hey,
You can really,
I teach 25 high school football players how to officiate every year. You don't think they're on the field going,
Yeah.
that's wrong?
Well, I've done that too.
Now, I tell them to shut up, but how can you not? When you know the rule and then you know they're getting it wrong, they're smart kids, man.
Oh, I know. And when I taught that class, I said, you're putting the stuff into action. You're playing that, you know what? Okay, you know, and then you'll know how to get around it as well. You know the ins and outs of it, so you can use it to your advantage if you want.
All right, a running play, on the other hand, which that sprint out pass, if he just tucks it and goes, all of a sudden we got a running play now. Okay, that is any play where the ball is run, not passed forward, ends when the runner is down, fumbled, or goes out of bounds, or a change of possession. Okay, so it can be a fumble and you pick it up. That the run is over. They get that spot. So we're gonna take a look at a play now, and let's break it down. Okay, I don't have this deck, so play 86. Uh-oh.
There's a guest.
Yep. No, I can't believe I didn't. Talk amongst yourselves. Sorry, I should have had this done. Okay. Try this again. All right. Okay, should be the first play here.
Yes.
Okay, so back this up. So on this, we have a backwards pass to start this off, correct? We have a snap going backwards. This right now, loose ball, but could turn into a run play. Still, at this point, well, this is a run that could turn into a loose ball. Oh, we've got a flag. I think it was probably a hold. Now, not the ideal position for an R right here, right? Yeah, he's focused on that hold, which I know can happen to all of us. And now he just found himself right in the middle of this play. He's got to be bailing and getting distance here. But hey, it happens to all of us. So we still have a run play. Oh, now we have a forward pass. So now all of that prior to that becomes a loose. We have a loose ball play here until it is possessed. From this point on, if we have a foul, it is a run play. Enforced, and we're going to talk about, again, loose ball plays are enforced from the previous spot with some exceptions. Run plays are enforced from end of the run.
What happens if that guy laterals it back?
It's still a backwards.
It's still a back.
So that would be still a run play then?
It's going to become another run play.
Okay.
So where did the foul occur on which person's run can really spin you up on the spot of enforcement. Okay? And that's what makes some of these test questions really difficult. And this is what drives Steve crazy on these test questions is, what do you mean during the, after the, during the, it just, but we're gonna stop that from happening. He's gonna nail these. Okay, so, and then now we have a run play. So any foul that occurs right now is gonna be enforced from the end of the run, okay? And I don't think we have another one. I just wanted to pull, ooh, don't duck your head, son. Okay, so we have, oh boy, I could show you this. They enforce this wrong. I'm not going to show you this, but, you know, we have a flag behind the previous spot. They enforced it from the spot of the foul, which is a death sentence for offenses. That's why they got rid of that rule is don't enforce it from here. Any, foul behind there. Yeah.
So now that you see that on video, it probably clicked and made a lot more sense.
If you just get into a habit of throwing the flag and determining what's going on right now. Was it before? Was it after? Was it during something? If you can just speak that to a referee, these guys can put it together. They really can. But you got to be, if they ask you, was it, you got to know the answer to that. Was it during? Was it after the catch? Did he catch the ball on it? If you go, I don't know, which is going to happen to you, unfortunately, they can't put that together for you. You got to have this piece of the puzzle for them to help you out. Yeah, they have no idea. That's not their job. Okay, back to here. That.
Well, I would like to know if he was wearing earmuffs or one of the over-the-road trucker-style microphones.
Yeah. So if you are going to lock anything in to help you, it's this right here. All right. And I had heard this when I first started officiating, but it was probably like year 2 when I went, oh, really? That's how they, because as a coach, I just stood there and I'd watch you guys enforce stuff. And if it looked right, it looked right. If it didn't, I would say, Tim, is that right? And I can remember one time, this was late in mine. He said to me, I'm 98% sure. Literally, that was your quote right there. You said, I'm 90, because it was complicated. It wasn't something just easy. And you're like, I am. And he came over, had a conference with me. He goes, Larry, I'm 98% sure on this. And I just went, there's 2% there, you son of a. But he was right, of course. So, yeah, I think the coaches don't know even this. The coaches know by watching films, that's where penalties get enforced from. They don't know this, even this simple thing. Now, the hard part is we just showed you a play that has maybe a run play, a loose ball play, It can have different segments. Now when we talk about kicks, a punt is a loose ball until it's caught or possessed. Now it's a run play. We've got to know what was it when the foul occurred, and if you can put that piece together, boy, life becomes easier, especially for the R's in putting together what's the enforcement. Okay? So now we're going to take these kind of individually. All right, the basic spot. These are the possibilities of basic spots. And the basic spot is where the penalty is enforced from. Where are we going to walk this off from? That's what we need to know. We can have succeeding spot. Any clue what that means?
We're going to end it up.
where it's going to be snapped from next. Okay, so where it ended up most of the time is correct, but sometimes it's not, especially when we have an unsportsmanlike or something between. Its succeeding spot is where the next snap is going to occur from. Okay, end of the run or related run. When we say related run, remember we can have multiple runs on the same play, or we can have a fumble that happens. We might enforce from the spot of the fumble from that related run. Even though I fumbled it, Tony's on my team. He picked it up and ran. But the foul occurred during my fumble. Well, this is the spot where I fumbled it that we are going to enforce that from. End of the run or related run. And by the way, this was added in the rule book, I think, this year. Yep. Previous spot, that's where on dead ball fouls, we get a DOF or we get a false start or something. We're throwing that. We don't even let the play happen. That's the previous spot. We're going to walk it back 5 or go 5 that way from the previous spot. PSK foul, this is post-scrimmage kick. This only occurs during punts where we have a foul by the receiving team during the kick. Okay? Not prior to the kick, not after the kick when he's running, only during the kick. Now, again, what is during the kick for you guys? I think you have to define that, because the reason PSK is in there is why. Because this wasn't always a rule. Anybody know why we did this? Yeah. Yes. So we don't get a bunch of re-kicks. The offense has already said, go ahead, say it again.
So you don't get a bunch of re-kicks?
Yep. So the offense has already declared we're giving you the ball. Okay? Remember, that is a loose ball play. I can go back a slide. Loose ball plays are enforced where? Previous spot, except if it's a PSK foul. Because now, so we use the rule on my crew in college, it better be a takedown right on the snap. If it's not right on the snap, it's during the kick. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning, yes, he might have been right here when the foul occurred. That's during the kick. We're not going to split hairs on that. The offense has already said we're giving you the ball. We're going to go with PSK there. So now there is splitting hairs on, did it happen during the kick or during the run? We've got to know when that ball's caught. That is really important that we can identify that. That's usually the Bs, if you have deep wings, or us in a 5-man crew running down the field, and especially if we throw it, you got to look, is the ball in the air, or did the guy catch it, or is it rolling on the ground? Because if it's rolling on the ground, it's still a kick. We can still have PSK enforcement, all right? So that's, again, spot of the foul happens in the all but one principle right here. We'll get to that. Why don't you take that, Tony?
Okay, all but one principle. So penalties are marked from the basic spot. Remember, basic spot being all that we just covered, okay? Loose ball play equals previous spot. Run play equals end of run. Again, those two are just so key and simplifies and dumbs it down, I think, for me. And I think if you guys, like Larry had said, can take that little nugget from tonight, it will help you in so many different ways this year. And then the exception is when the offense fouls behind the basic spot.
Okay, what does that mean, Coop? What do you think that means? So it's always from the basic spot when we talk about this, except when the offense fouls behind that basic spot. Think of it this way. Okay? I'm running the ball. Here you go, Tony. You're the official. Okay? Here's the line of scrimmage. So I crossed the line of scrimmage. If the flag was thrown there, and sorry on camera if you can't see this, but come to the trainings. If the foul occurred there, is that behind the basic spot? End of the run is right here. You guys see how we're going to mark it off from here, not there, because the offense. But if that was the case, so it was a holding downfield.
Beyond.
And we got right here, and I got tackled right here. We're not going to enforce it from where they didn't even get to yet. We're going to enforce it from the basic spot. And it's always from the basic spot unless the foul occurred by the offense only behind it. Everything else is basic spot. So we go back to Was it the previous spot, this line of scrimmage here? So the holding in the backfield on the pass play, we all know it's enforced from that right there. And we just get used to seeing it. This is how we word it in the rule book. The previous spot is the basic spot. The end of the run is the basic spot. Now we have other basic spots that we have to go over that get a little more complicated. But until you truly understand this page, right, or really this, because it's going to get you to the right spot in, what percentage of high school plays? 99, 98%, I think. I mean, it's very rare that we get something really crazy. I can't think of the last time where we did, but.
Now we will, our first game. Thank you.
Well, I'm not there, so cool.
We'll wait till you're back then.
You good with this?
Yeah, I just better see it.
That's what I thought. And we're going to do this for other things tonight, too. Okay. So we're going to take each of these. I probably should have gone back and changed the order of this, but I really didn't want to start with succeeding spot. It probably came first in the rule book. Maybe I literally started this a long time ago. But there are some times when we're going to use where they snap it next is where we enforce something from. Okay? Let's talk about this, an unsportsmanlike conduct foul. Okay? In high school rules, it has to be what? To be an unsportsmanlike conduct. Flagrant, we're booting them. Non-contact. And that is not what you watch on TV, guys. Be careful. You watch a college game and stuff, and they're hitting it, and they call it the UNS. Not for us. That's personal foul. That's unnecessary roughness in high school. UNS, by rule, is non-contact, which is going to look weird for people that are watching a lot of football. That's not in our rule book. Our rule book, this has to be non-contact. Now, we can have some of these, like, for example, it doesn't have to just be a kid going, F you, or calling somebody. It can be them running down the field and high-stepping or diving into the end zone. We've had that, right, in our games, or that's an unsportsmanlike. Now, again, make sense of that. In college, the dude points back at the 5 at the guy and scores a touchdown. The official throws a flag on them for unsportsmanlike conduct. That's no touchdown. That's a live ball foul. We're marking it off from the 5, back 15. They don't get a touchdown. They get a touchdown in high school. It's going from the succeeding spot. Succeeding meaning where it's put into play. So if that scenario was something, I point at Tony going into the end zone, right? Or he points at me, okay? We're going touchdown. What is the succeeding spot, Coop?
Extra point.
Right. We got a choice here. All right. We got to give them a choice here. Do you want it? You can enforce it either from the PAT or from the succeeding kickoff. Either can be a succeeding spot or it can be overtime. Be the 10-yard line in overtime. Some of these can carry over, especially unsportsmanlike. You end this game on a really critical, weird call or whatever, and they tied the game. Coach is chirping. We got a flag comes out. That can be enforced at the succeeding spot, which happens to be the 10-yard line in overtime. So we could be going to the 5 or we could be going back to the 25, right? Which is weird, but it can happen. Other succeeding spots, a dead ball foul. So in that case, whatever, even if you get some shoving that occurs after or a late hit, that's a dead ball foul. Do we know what that is? Like literally, it doesn't mean the whistle. It means the play has killed itself and somebody comes in and does something. We have a dead ball foul at that point. That is succeeding spot, meaning the play is done. This is where we get into a curveball is 4th down. It's 4th and 2, right? And they get to right here, and the ball is down right here. And now after the play, we had a late hit. What's the succeeding spot? It was 4th and 2. And here's where the ball was spotted. Tony just threw a dead ball foul, okay, for a late hit, personal foul, dead ball foul. What is the succeeding? Where's the ball next being put in for who?
It goes to the defense or switches sides.
Yep. So now
it goes 15 from there back that way.
Now,
whichever way they're going.
How about this? Why isn't it 1st and 25?
It was over. Playing field goal.
Yep.
It was over.
You feel to obtain a line to gain at 4 downs.
Okay, so
Action.
we now have a new first down. The penalty has already happened, and we have not had a ready for play. Okay? If we have had a ready to play, and I go, God, you're just killing us, and you're an idiot, and Tony now throws a flag on me, we can end up 1st and 25. Right? You understand how that succeeding spot, where the ball is being put into play next. Non-player foul. Who usually is that?
An assistant.
The defensive coordinator, right? They're always hotheads. Yes. So a lot of times, yes, a dead ball foul, or I'm sorry, a non-player foul can be, but I swear to God, I've wanted to throw a flag on camera people. Oh my gosh, because they don't care. They think here's the restricted line, and this is what they do. And their lens comes out to here. So my lens is this table, and they think they're okay because they're behind this line. And whack. And you can't. Never going to throw a foul on a camera person. I don't even know how to do that. But that would be a non-player foul, I guess, on the home team if you had something. The band, go ahead.
What's your threshold on screaming idiot coaches? I've coached with a guy. His nickname is Blackbeard, the yelling, screaming idiot. So he screams nonstop. Is there like something? Is it just your discretion, or?
Yes, it is. It is my discretion, but I do have lines.
Right.
And he may have a higher threshold.
I do.
Because he coached for 26 years.
Yeah.
Right. His threshold might not be as his threshold might not be the same as his threshold or my threshold or so
anything personal. If it's at me personally, you are the worst effing da-da-da-da. Flag's coming out right now. Not going to hear another word. If it's, though, about a call that I missed, sure, call you want.
You're killing me, things like that.
Now, he better be the head coach. If he's not the head coach, I'm going to have one discussion with the head coach. All right? The head coach needs to fix that, and then it's going to come out. Okay. I do not want to throw my flag. My goal on every Thursday, Friday is to never have that leave here. So I'm going to do what I can proactively to not throw those non-player fouls, especially because no one on the field wants that coach to affect this game. Nobody, especially his kids that are out there and the fans in the stand. Nobody wants that. So I don't want to do that either. But if he crosses a line, then yes, you have to. So again, succeeding spot where it's going to be put in play. Following a change of possession where the final result is a touchback. We're going to get into that a little bit in a special weird rule that there's 2 weird rules in our enforcements in the handbook or in the rule book here. Okay, but following a change of possession where the final result is a touchback. I'm behind this. I caught it here. Change of possession. I caught it here. The succeeding spot is where we would enforce that from, meaning what? And so there are times when we enforce it from the goal line. There's times when we enforce it from the 20. I don't know if we'll get there tonight, but we're going to nail that. We're going to understand it coming out of here. Okay? So now we're shifting. This is all the succeeding spot ones. So just think look, big one, usually big one, right? These are the times when, everybody's getting their attention. Weird one. And then this one, that's really weird. So it's not our common fouls that we're ever going to go succeeding spot, right? The 2 common ones are previous spot, end of the run, right? So we'll get to end of the basic spot, end of the run, or related run when, here's where the language just kills me. So we'll do this, Tone.
Yep.
First one. Foul by B, that means the defense. When the run ends beyond the line of scrimmage. So I'm running the ball here, okay? And Tony does something in fouls. Go ahead. The flag goes down. There's the foul. The run ended beyond the line of scrimmage right here. End of the run. That's any foul by the defense where I've crossed the line of scrimmage. We're going end of the run, right? Does that make sense? You've seen it they run the ball this way. Oh, it was defensive holding. Or
face mask, right?
Face mask.
Face mask on the tackle when he he's 2 yards beyond that line of scrimmage. I face mask on the tackle. We're going to go from the end of that run.
Yep. Right? So that I think that's a good. But when somebody reads this and just starting out, they have no idea what this means. Because how do I know this? Because I read it and didn't know what it meant really. Foul that occurs beyond the end of the run, okay, following a change of possession. So now it's interception, okay, in a foul that occurs beyond the end of the run. So I'm running, Tony.
Yep.
Foul occurred there. I got tackled here.
Block in the back, right?
Okay. Do you see, if we just take that 3-in-1 principle, all but one principle, okay, do you see why we're enforcing it from here? Again, they didn't get to there. Why would we back them up from there? It just makes sense. But Lord, when somebody reads this, they're like, okay, I don't know what you're talking about. I think I could put a video up here, which is hard to find of this stuff, guys. I've been looking. If I put a video, you guys would all go, of course, we're going to enforce it right from there. 20 yards downfield, why the heck would we ever? That makes no sense. But I'm skipping ahead. What if the foul was there, Coop? Right? Whichever is behind, that makes sense. But that's not what we're on. We're on right now, end of the run. Foul by A, that's the offense, that occurs beyond the line of scrimmage during a running play when both of these have to occur. Okay? So let's go back here. Okay. Foul that occurs by A, the offensive team's following. And I am beyond the line of scrimmage on a running play when, number one, the run ends beyond the line of scrimmage, and the foul occurs in advance of that. Well, no crap. We've been over and over this, right? End of the run in this case. But the rule book says all of this, and people read it in tiny little print and go, I don't know what that is. It's simply this. Whichever one's farther back, guys. All right? That's literally it. Okay? Next, this is a doozy. Looks like, oh my God, all of these things, telling you right now, you guys know almost all of them, but you didn't know what that meant. So first one, foul occurs simultaneous with the snap or a free kick. Steve has these sometimes where he's going to kill it and we're going to go from the previous spot. But it's Tony's the right guard, and it's on go, down, set, oh. Okay? Right there, we're going to enforce that from the previous spot and go back 5 yards. Everybody good at that? Pretty simple? Good. Number two, foul occurs behind the line of scrimmage during a loose ball play. Loose ball. Remember what I said, Lockett? Loose ball play, previous spot, enforcement. Loose ball play, previous spot, enforcement. Because loose ball play beyond the line of scrimmage, we have a different thing there. Okay? So foul behind the line of scrimmage, we're almost always going previous spot. Foul which occurs during a down in which a legal kick occurs, meaning if I going for a punt and I cross the line of scrimmage, is that a legal kick? It's not a legal kick. So it's got to be legal here for this to come into play. Occurs down in which a legal kick occurs and an inadvertent whistle ends the down prior to possession with either team. A lot of officials don't know this. Okay? If it's already, so I kicked it down to Tim. That's not what this says. This says the whistle happened
now.
And you know what it happens? Tim, do a punt to me. That's when it happens. They fair caught and the back judge is sure. I've done it before. I know that they are sure they're going to catch it, and it goes right through the wickets, and I already blew my whistle. Okay? This does come into play now, right? It's still during the kick. It was a legal kick, okay? And, where are we? Legal kick, and it occurred, inadvertent whistle, ends prior to possession of either team. The whistle happened before possession. We're going back to the previous spot. People like to say, no, I want it right there because it rolled around and Tony picked it up. No, we want it right there. Can't have it right there. We got to go back to the previous spot. But if I would have caught it and now Tony blows his whistle, well, that's different, isn't it? Now what can we do? Now they got a choice. Okay, we're going to give them a choice. But we don't give them a choice until it's possessed. And a lot of people don't know that one. So we're going to nail it in here. Followed by A or B, this just makes sense, when the related run ends behind the line of scrimmage. Okay, followed by the offense or defense, doesn't matter, when it occurs behind the line of scrimmage when there is no change of possession. We get a change of possession, now there's more to it. But if it ever, where the run ends here, we're going to go back to here and enforce it. Let's think defensive holding. I get tackled, quarterback right here. Oh, and the dude's holding my receiver. And I get sacked. Well, we're not going to enforce it from back here. We're going to go up to the line of scrimmage and go 10 yards. Same is true here. My Tony holds. He's my guard. He holds. We're not going to enforce it from behind the line of scrimmage. We're going to go back to the previous spot and enforce it from there. Make sense? Okay. Followed by A, the offense, that occurs behind the line of scrimmage when the run ends beyond the line of scrimmage. Think about this. So Tony fouled back there, and I ran the ball 10 yards this way. We're not, so get your flag on the ground, Tom, right there. We're not enforcing it from here. We don't do that anymore except for those special ones. We're not going to, but it's not there or it's not there. So this is one, if the flag would have been right here, we're enforcing it from here. But because it's behind the line of scrimmage, we're going previous spot. That makes sense? And sometimes you got to put that together on the field and go, ooh. And I think if Tony has a flag and he's talking to Tim, it's my job to go, okay, are they getting this right? Because I'm not involved in that. And if it was the opposite, it's the other people on the cruise. Steve's sitting back there, and he can go, that's what we got. Check. Or, hey, are we sure about that one, guys? And we can run it through again. Yes, we're sure. Or, oh, that's a great catch. So takes a crew to catch these. Where was I?
7 will be the next one.
6.
7's the next one. 7.
So, followed by A or B when the run ends behind the line of scrimmage before a change of possession. Okay, we're going previous spot. A or B when the run ends behind the line of scrimmage. So anything except for those special ones. Again, forward handling can't happen. So it's illegal kick, illegal dump in the pass, anything like that we do. Other than that, we're going previous spot. Okay, so this exception. And this is a play, it was actually at Tri-County back in the beginning. I put this quiz question up, right? Because it is a curveball, and it's a curveball because it's an exception to the rule, okay? So, choice by offended team. You got a choice. The basic spot may be the succeeding spot for fouls by K during the legal kick down prior to the end of the kick when K is the next to put the ball in play. Got it, Coop?
What?
I wouldn't either.
Why not?
Okay? So, do you remember when we went over PSK? What a PSK. Remember, if I'm punting the ball, I'm declaring, I'm giving you the ball. So if it's during the kick, okay, boom, we're going to do PSK enforcement. I guess I never finished that. We're going to do it from the end of the kick. We're going to back R up from the end of the kick. We're talking about fouls by K now. Okay? So if it's a foul by K at any point during this loose ball play, prior to the end of the kick, any foul, you guys are R. I fouled, right? You get a choice. You can either back me up, make me kick it again, or you can have it enforced where you have the ball next to put in play. That's all that means. Yes?
I would say that would happen if they're trying to punt, but they got 5 guys in the backfield. So you're not killing it.
There you go.
The flag's going to go up.
Illegal formation.
They've got 2 choices on
They
that.
do.
Okay.
This gets enforced wrong, or they don't give the options to the coach a lot. So they just go, I don't know. I mean, if somebody told me and I was a coach, you got to re-kick it. I'm like, okay. I wouldn't have known. They actually have it. Now, this exception has not always been here. So if people are going off of an old rule book, well, they're not going to know this. But this is in line with college. That this exception put it in line with what you guys watch on Saturdays. Is any foul by K. Now, if it was a foul on K after the ball was caught, that's not during the kick, right? Right? We're going to enforce that just like we would anything else on a defense. But if it's during the kick, You got to give them a choice here. Hey, coach, you want him to re-kick -5, or do you want +5 from the end of the kick? That's what I would say to the coach. I'm not going to tell him what yard line because I don't know. But that's the options I've been in. Or maybe it's -10, +10 on the kicking team. Maybe we have a personal foul, something like that. But this is the exception that I see enforced incorrectly, or it's enforced perfectly good. I can't tell from watching the film. Did they give the coaches the choice and that's what they chose? I don't know, but I don't think so. There's some where I go, they would want the ball. Can't take the ball away from them because K foul. Good with that? Okay, you got to just have that. I lock it away on a punt. If there's a foul by the receiving team, I got to know before the kick, during the kick, after the kick. I got to know those, or really, before the kick, during the run. Because we have different enforcements on all three. If it's any foul on K, hey, coach, what do you want? Back them up, kick it again, or you want it from the end where you. Now, if R does not possess the ball on that punt, previous spot enforcement. Right? So R fumbled it, and K jumped on it. We're going back to the previous spot. They don't possess the ball.
What happened? They didn't fumble. What happens if it just rolled? They let it roll dead.
That's the end of the kick.
That's the end of the kick. So you can force
Go
it
from there,
or they can go back whatever.
previous spot. Make sense?
Makes sense.
If it makes sense right now, you're going to remember this forever. All right? And just think on punts. The same is true for a field goal attempt. The same is true. It's a scrimmage kick. So we have that same rule in effect. It's not often that we get fouls on K, but sometimes we do get a hold, not an extra point, but a field goal attempt where we get that hold by the field goal team or something like that. And most of the time it's, all right, they missed the field goal, right? So we got a hold on the kicking team. Okay, so on the offense right here, well, what is the receiving team going to do? Yeah, so, okay, I think we have one more, and that's what we'll do. We'll close it out with this. I know there's a lot of stuff, guys, but it's good. I think I've killed PSK. Are we good with that? Do we get PSK? So let me just, for Coop and new guys, post scrimmage kick. If a foul occurs on R during the kick, that is why Steve's bag on the end of that kick matters. Because if they catch it at the 5 and run all the way down to the other end of the field, we're enforcing it from the 5. They're getting the ball at the 2.5 yard line. Let's say it was a hold on the receiving team during the kick. That's what this is. You got to know when it took place. Okay? So the last one here is actually, once we've been through all the other ones, this becomes a lot easier. I don't even really love calling it spot fouls. Because that, honestly, it's only called a spot foul in high school. Not called spot fouls. We just use the principle, the 3-and-1 principle or the all but one principle. Okay? So if we have illegal, for the other things, this one is a spot foul. If it's illegal batting or illegal kicking. So again, remind me, high school illegal batting, can't bat it anywhere, I think.
You cannot bat it anywhere, forward or backward.
Forward or backward, anywhere in the field of play or in the end zone, cannot bat. The only batting that's acceptable is if you're the kicking team trying to keep it out of the end zone.
Out of the end zone.
I think that's the one exception to batting.
Yes.
There could be another one. Oh, no, they do. Tipped. Yep, tipped at the line of scrimmage or a pass or a punt, but that's actually a bat. We ignore that too. So those are not illegal batting. Anything else, if you bat the ball, that is a foul. Okay, and that's a spot foul.
Isn't it more like when it's purposely done?
Yes, a bat has to be purposeful.
With intent. With intent. With intent.
With intent. You do it with intent. So when you're going to block a kick or you're going to do something like that, it's not really with intent to do it. It's incidentally.
Well, it's intent.
No, it's intent, but this is the exception
But we ignore
to
that.
the rule.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But you ignore that intent because it's more incidental because you're not always going to do it.
Just like on a punt, if the defensive lineman jumps up in the neutral zone and gets a tip of it, we ignore that touch. That was not touched by R. We ignore that in the free blocking zone. Okay. All right, illegal forward pass and intentional grounding of either is going to be a loss of down from the spot and then whatever yardage. Are they both 5? Intentional grounding is 5, right? What? Plus loss of down. Illegal forward pass is also 5.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, that can be a really bad one. The guy's scrambling back there 15 yards and still in the pocket somehow, or gets out of the pocket and doesn't get it back to the line of scrimmage. Holy crap, that can be, yeah, don't want that. But I guess we gave him an out.
It's high school.
Okay, foul. So here's where I say I don't really love this. Foul by the team in possession that occurs, here we go again, I didn't capitalize it, but foul that occurs behind the end of the run following a change of possession. We've already actually gone through this. Interception, right? And the foul occurs behind the end of the run after the change of possession. Okay? It's going to be the spot of the foul. Now, that's why I don't love that. It's just, hey, just get this in mind. What occurred in which order, we're going to take them back from whichever occurred on either side of this. All right? We don't have to, but if you read that, that's confusing. When A commits any foul in his end zone, okay, that is a spot foul, so a hold in the end zone. We understand this, right? Or
This is the goal line.
Yeah, this is the goal line, and Tony's blocking, and he takes somebody down, right? That is a spot foul, and that matters because this is the one exception where we're going to have a spot. It's not previous spot when it occurs in the end zone because we're going to have a safety here, right? A foul by A in their own end zone is a safety. That's why it has to be a spot foul. Because the rule says, wait a minute, foul by A behind the line of scrimmage is enforced from the previous spot, except if it's in the end zone. We just have to make that exception in our. And you guys, you watch football, you know, when you see that on Saturday, you go, oh, that's a safety. It just pops into your head. All right? All right. Foul by A that occurs beyond the line of scrimmage. So again, foul by A that occurred beyond the line of scrimmage during a running play when the run ends beyond the line of scrimmage and the foul occurs behind the end of the run. So again, we have the same exact scenario. They just call this a spot foul. But it's 3-in-1 principle. Yes, I think that's right. All but one principle.
All but one.
We use that. You can call this the spot or whatever from the spot, from the flag. However your crew can communicate that. So Steve knows he's coming over, and we're going from the spot, right? Yep, we're going from the spot. Back 10, back 15, whatever it is. How you guys feel about that? Good review, I think, if nothing else, for the season. It certainly is for me going through this. We're going to get, next week, we get more in the weeds with this. This is the basics. There's some stuff in the rule book that I think a lot of people don't know is there, and it is confusing, especially when we have some special basic spots. We have some special enforcement rules that I don't think a lot of people know about. Or it's one of those, hey, you know the basic? You can officiate 98% of a season. It's that 2% where, wow, you're a great crew if you catch that because you knew this special enforcement, which you guys have been doing it a long time. You know this already. But it's for us newbies, it's good review for us if we didn't know before.
How many of you guys are going to be at Chippewa Hills next
Wednesday? Next Wednesday.
Awesome. Because we're going to finish up.
I'm just going to continue right from here. And we're going to go through it. And I have a bunch of plays that show these. We're going to go over enforcements from them. Matter of fact, I'm going to show the play, pause. Where do we enforce this from? Next one. I am.
If you're bored, if you're going to be at Chippewa Hills next week and you are bored over the course of the next week, and if you have a question that you want to present to not just us but the group, whether it be a quiz type question or an enforcement question, feel free to write it up and present that. That'd be
and
awesome.
if you, I'm sure the test might come out prior to next Wednesday. I mean, I'm probably going to go through it right when it comes out. So if you want to bring it in or if you have questions about it, I'm certainly not the Illinois, but we got some referees in here that know a lot of this stuff and can help us. And as a group, hey, maybe we can do a good job. Okay? All right.
Hey, thanks, Larry.
Yeah.